But the women with the angel images are able to get off a lot under the guise of I have an angel image, and I imagine it to be frustrating for a man. I'm not even just talking about them. They're young, so we're going to apply the young card. But there are a lot of people out there hiding behind just this image of perfection, and behind the scenes, they are an absolute demon and monster, and nobody believes the guy because this girl done been in a movie or two.
All right, so the Podfather today is getting into the young people drama. So we got Joe in the podcast talking about the latest situation with DDG and Little Mermaid, Halle Bailey. I can't pronounce her name, but check this out, like the video, and subscribe.
Okay, the nature of the text messages that DDG released were very disturbing.
They were.
And there was a lot of talk around the cause of those texts being sent. Was this postpartum, or was this a psycho girl?
Are there dates on the texts?
Let me find them. March of 2024.
Okay.
Now, do we have enough facts to get into our feelings about this?
I think that's a pretty good outline, right?
Pretty good.
That's a pretty good outline.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and feel free to stay for this in case you want to chime in on this tough
All
topic.
right, okay, I'm here.
All right.
Flip, go to the kitchen on this tough topic. Yo, this topic right here, Flip, go ahead, get out of here, man. Don't worry about this.
No, it's Flip gonna stay.
Oh, man.
I have no idea what anybody's take is regarding this, so I'd love to hear it. I know Mel.
I feel like the only reason why we know any of this is because he is constantly online talking about it, and after the breakup being completely disparaging of her making his claims, et cetera, et cetera. Also, when he went on, when he started talking about the fact that she was, preventing him from seeing Halo, he did this on his streaming platform with his millions of viewers, creating like a hashtag free Halo. What does that do? That encourages your audience to go to her and start bullying her without any of the facts other than the ones that you just presented, which are up for fucking debate. Whoever's right, whoever's wrong, it really is. It's gotten so fucking messy, nobody even knows. But my stance is he comes off as being so fucking wildly stressful to deal with after you've just had a baby. I'm standing 10 toes down on Halle's side. I don't even have to have all the facts. The fact of the matter is she had a baby.
That's
she has
on brand.
No,
Shocker.
Yeah, plot twist with this.
There's a lot of situations, Mel, when you don't take the text message serious, that something end up happening to the child. We've seen that a lot of times. Whether it's when it comes to domestic issues.
They say, the signs were right there.
The signs were right there. So him filing this restraining order based off of the text message that she's been sending him is a right move for him to do.
I'd like to challenge a few of the things that you said.
Okay.
Go ahead. Who, Mel?
Yeah. In terms of weaponizing a fan base to bully you.
They're both doing that.
They both are doing it.
I don't see how she's done it.
Now we let you get a runway to get all of your shit off. Let's have the conversation without us triggering one another. Because I'm not trying to trigger nobody, and please don't trigger me. And this topic could be triggering.
It's very triggering.
I done been through every aspect of this. The second that she left him, fan bases were weaponized. Because you had the Disney girl, the Beyonce girl, the clean sister act girl's fan base saying, yo dog, you lucked up, she should have never been with you, you's a bum, you clout chasing, every chance you get, you mentioning a baby, you mentioning her, she don't want you. That was a thing. That was a real thing. I'm saying this as somebody.
Fam, it went on up here. We got into an argument about DDG.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He's
We
right.
did. We got into an argument about DDG. You took Chloe's side. I mean, you took Haley's side. We took DDG's side. We got into an argument about DDG. So it's not like he was the person that was throwing out the bully shit and she was just on the receiving end of that.
Yeah,
That's not true. Both of their fan bases were weaponized.
She did not weaponize hers. She couldn't. Just let me say this one thing. Just one thing, and then y'all got it.
Hijack the topic.
No. Holy shit.
You're gonna hijack
How
that
many
topic.
times
Go
have
ahead.
they hijacked dog piled on me? One
saying,
time.
go ahead.
I just
Hit
want
it
to
off.
say
Hit it
this
off.
one thing.
Go ahead.
She did not weaponize her fan base. And furthermore, everybody's saying that he's a clown, stay away from him, blah, blah, blah. She didn't listen. She followed her own heart. That was the man she wanted. She chose. She had a baby with him. She did not listen to anybody. So she did not weaponize her fan base. They made their own assumptions.
Mel,
He went on streaming
Mel, now you off the tangent. Can you not respond to each point that we're about to make
okay.
the same way we did with you? That's all I'm asking.
Right.
I have more of your points
And
that I'd like
she
to
don't
challenge.
even with that weaponization point. The artists sometimes don't have to say skill.
Go do it.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that.
If nothing else, we've proven that both of them played part in the weaponization of fan bases. 1. 2, in terms of things being made public and why they are made public, they're playing courthouse games.
True indeed.
Mm-hmm. Courthouse games is not only where things become public, but it's where both parties go to say the worst of the worst about the other. So unfortunately, these stories, the break-in stories, they're public because they're court filings. 3, she played her hand in some of this being public when she vehemently was against the kid going to Constant's house.
And put that out.
And she put it out. So all I'm saying is, at the start, you have 2 young people that are engaging in the messiness of a breakup after a baby.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
These text messages that he released, the disturbing ones, if you believe that these are texts and not doctored and really happened, they say a lot. I mean, they do tell a story.
They do.
Should I read them?
Sure.
The trust, this is a blurry version. I'll try my best. The trust issues are becoming overwhelming. Maybe that's for the best. I put in too much time and effort into making you happy to have to deal with the bullshit every day. And in your eyes, you're never wrong. It's frustrating, and I'm over it. I'm no longer entertaining this argument. I need to work on becoming more successful like, quote unquote, Jay-Z, like you said. Then maybe you'll take my vision of becoming a big label owner serious instead of shitting on my dreams every second you get.
Yeah.
She says, you don't want to be with me, that's okay. I will never beg anyone. I will be successful. I don't need to be with someone who is going to demean me. You like that I'm insecure. It makes you feel good about yourself. I'm not doing this anymore. Keep your phone on airplane mode. But when I die, don't say shit. See,
this is a lot of TMI. This is
It is.
2 young people
Being super manipulative to each other because their fucking feelings are involved and shit like that. Like they're fucking nasty to each other. But who in this room doesn't know what that experience is like when it gets when you're at that point where you're mad at each other or where you think that the break is happening and one person is playing super fucking nonchalant, usually the guy, and the girl is like, just spazzing out and shit like that. That's all I hear from those text messages.
It sounds like both of them are doing both things.
Yeah.
Sounds like both of them are playing nonchalant. Both of them are being nasty to each other.
I don't hear both of them not playing nonchalant.
Parks and Mel, enough of y'all two now.
But not enough, but
Enough for you two.
I don't hear her playing nonchalant at all.
This is what I'm saying. Not enough of you. What I'm saying is this. And again, speaking from a little bit of experience, I don't know if you brothers have any experience here. And if y'all do, I don't know why y'all talking it right now.
no, I want to hear your point because we about to make one.
This is what I'm saying. In the beef where 2 people are wrong and playing a part,
Yeah.
there's the person that's playing along in whatever the beef is, and then there's somebody that's not playing at all. There's somebody that is so angry or so emotional and so narrow-minded that they are not looking at the bigger picture here. Once she says to him, I will die behind this, or whatever the fuck she said, even if it's from whatever it's from, as a parent, Yeah, now you have taken this to another level, and I don't know if you are of enough health in mind, body, and spirit to take care of you and a child. Mm-hmm. And nobody talks about that part of postpartum. I'm not against y'all calling this behavior postpartum. Mm-hmm. Y'all got all types of words: postpartum, Stockholm.
Let me ask.
But postpartum is there's nothing to deny about postpartum. Postpartum is what happens after you have a baby. There's postpartum depression, there's postpartum psychosis, there is postpartum, and there is like her hormone, like
but
it's stressful enough to have had a child. But when you enter into a chaotic, erratic, situation with the person that is supposed to be loving on you and the kid and creating a stress.
Can you care for a child with postpartum, Mel? I don't need the word to.
You can care for a child, but you got to do everything that you possibly can to create as stress-free an environment as possible. And it doesn't seem like this is what's happening.
In caring for the child, should you text anybody and say, I'm going to kill myself?
And if you do, how do you think that person should respond? That's my question.
Yes,
in seeing that tweet, if I ever got that tweet,
you've never had a girl say that to you.
We're talking about no. I'm talking about someone that I have a child with. Like my baby mother has never gotten to that. Mm-hmm. Had she did, my immediate number one thing is I got to go get my kid.
Okay.
Whether you're serious or not, I can't play with it.
And I totally understand that. But if we're going to be talking about you, to me, I don't know what happened between you and your baby mama, if it was contentious or whatever. But you seem to be an extraordinarily even-keeled, logical person. So I don't know, but I don't really see you antagonizing your baby mama, especially after the kid has been born. I just don't see that happening with you. Mm. That is what I see. I don't matter in this situation, but this is how I am reading the situation. He is incredibly antagonizing to a woman who has just had his child, and they're playing these nasty little fucking games with each other. But to me, she doesn't really want to play these games. He releases the text messages just to get everybody on. He's playing that game of trying to get everybody, but trying to get the.
I'm doing this because I'm trying to get the courts to understand what I'm dealing with.
Let me ask you a question.
When were the text messages written versus when were they released? Because if there's a huge gap between...
He dropped the text messages. From the dates I looked at was March 2024.
March 2024, yeah.
Well, the text messages came out a couple of days ago when he filed to keep her from leaving.
In defense after she released
Yes.
If I'm him and she wrote me that text message, you know what I'm doing right in that moment? I am calling whatever authority that I need to, and I'm going to try my hardest to get a psychological.
Mel, this is where I have to interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
I have to interrupt you with respect. You can't say that. You don't. You have no idea what you would do. When this topic came up with me and my girl, and we were talking about the text, I said, I wasn't all the way serious. If I see that text, I'm calling the police. I said that same thing that you just said. Yeah. She reminded me I'd been through this. And I didn't call the cops. I didn't call the police at all. I went outside while we were on her birthday dinner and did my best to talk to, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just say, I'm going to call the police.
All this theoretical
and we can't gauge the seriousness of somebody when they text it is all I'm saying.
They weren't even broken up yet.
And that's my point. And of course, we are totally armchair quarterbacking this situation. We're just opining on their fucking business because it's everywhere. But to your point, you're right. You don't know what you're going to do in this situation. You can think in hindsight and say, I would be comfortable having a psychological evaluation done on her because I'm concerned for my child. You would think that that's what somebody would think, but if they don't in the moment, then that's understandable too. It's also understandable to think that she's just being hysterical in the moment, saying something to try to get a rise out of you because nothing else has worked.
But let me tell you,
all of this is potentially true.
As a man, there are a lot of steps and hurdles that you have to get to before you convince a judge or a court that a psych eval is needed for your child's mother. It's not just as simple as you going in there and requesting one. I went through that, and the person I was speaking to had no idea that was postpartum. It was her first kid. She didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm coming to
Nobody
you saying,
knows.
hey, is this that? Because they warned us about it in the hospital.
Yep.
Is there a way to
Yep.
help? And if you say no, now we just back to dealing with whatever comes with.
Exactly.
Or if you're a man and they say no, you sitting there like, oh, all right.
Can I suggest?
niggas are having
can I,
children
can,
that
And then the side don't have postpartum.
Y'all
too.
late
That's what
30s.
get
Y'all
me out of here.
niggas having
the
niggas
fuck.
having
The
children.
side is
Y'all
still-
you're right.
having
You're
children in y'all late 30s. So y'all know how to deal.
You're
Y'all
right. You're
more
absolutely right.
knowledgeable than somebody in their early 20s.
Them chicks with the angel images, I know ain't nobody gonna talk about it. I know ain't nobody gonna talk about
We
it.
ain't gonna talk about it.
I'm gonna talk about it though.
Have at it.
Hey,
Joe Budden podcast.
Be on the Joe Budden podcast.
With
Prize
featuring Ice
Pigs.
and Ish.
Prize Pigs.
No, featuring Ice and Ish and Flippin' Mel and Parks.
Fuck you talking about?
Dr. Mark Lamont, Jeremy Heck.
Yeah.
The women with the angel images are able to get off a lot under the guise of I have an angel image, and I imagine it to be frustrating for a man. I'm not even just talking about them. They're young, so we're going to apply the young card. But there are a lot of people out there hiding behind just this image of perfection, and behind the scenes, they are an absolute demon and fucking monster. And nobody believes the guy because this girl done been in a fucking movie or two. And I could say that a million times. I thought it about Keke Palmer and her baby daddy, with what they went through. I could name you 6 different couples to where the lady is an angel, so nah, no way she did that.
Yep.
Kick fucking rocks, man.
Nigga, do you know what Johnny Depp went through?
It'd be the women rushing to the courthouse to get help because the dude is not doing something that they want or not behaving accordingly. Men, I'll speak for black men, a lot of them ain't rushing to go start the courthouse process. That ain't happening. Some more shit that's taboo that we can't say.
You right.
It'd be their ass going up there. Shit. In my case, I said it. Yo, this is about to go public. Let's do our best. It never works like that. So, I mean, we can sit there and I feel like calling Ben Staples. It's public. It's public. Where the fuck did you think it was going?
But that's
you ain't important enough for them to seal nothing. You didn't pay for no fucking mediator. You went to court.
And unfortunately, the emotional part and the young part, they don't even think that far. They don't think about,
I don't even think the age come into that part.
I know, but I'm supposed to think the person that, all right, we can do age. Age plays a part. But the person that can't, I received that. The person that don't think that far is also the best person to look after a child.
Good. That ain't no Crisco there.
That's that good shit.
That ain't
This
Crisco.
topic hits home for me.
That's lard.
Home.
The topic hits home for me. It does. It does.
Boy cooking lard.
That boy, yeah, that boy.
That's a fatback in that motherfucker.
I ain't even going to Popeyes. I'm over here, bro. I'm busy.
I'm glad I survived. I survived.
Lucky you.
And a lot of that is in large credit to both of my kids' moms. It may have been rough for a second. I survived. And I couldn't have done it without you.
All right. First off, I want to hand it to Joe for quickly resolving his issue with DDG. And it's been apparent that him and DDG have been cool, at least on Joe's side. I don't know how DDG feels about Joe Budden at this point, but I remember recently Joe gave DDG some credit on his new album. But yeah, just to see Joe walking into this conversation, not immediately going against DDG because of their previous past. I want to give Joe credit for that. Now, with this situation, there was a bit of you have an older crowd talking about a younger situation. And I'm somebody who grew up on DDG, and I just want to speak on a lot of the misinformation that a lot of people have on DDG, which is as if he needed Halle or Haley. I always mispronounce her name, but I'm just going to call her Halle. If it's Haley, if I'm saying it wrong, my bad. But he never needed this girl. He's been successful before she was even a thing. but I know a lot of older people, they didn't grow up on YouTube like I did. DDG has been a thing on YouTube since before he was even an adult. And I think a lot of people think he's 30 years old. I think that dude is like 25. And he's been very successful probably since he was in high school doing YouTube, and had clout, had money, had millions before Halle even came into the picture. And if that wasn't the case, I don't think she would have talked to him. It wasn't like he was some random TikToker that she just found on the street. Because I see a lot of these people who are her fans, they always acted like DDG needed her for clout. And he's proved numerous times that he can just reinvent himself and do something different. He went from YouTube to music to now he's doing the streaming thing, and he's not in a relationship with this girl anymore. And I don't think the relationship brought him any more popularity than he had before. I'm just being honest with y'all. He was a thing. You go ask your kids about DDG, they'll tell you, nah, he been it. He was dating baddies before her. Some people feel like he had better before her. Now, I always saw when they first started dating, her fan base did not like him. And I think a lot of people didn't like him going back to the YouTube fans, mixing in with the other fans who just starting to know him, who, I don't know, they might feel like he was too arrogant. He's from Michigan like me. I do think a lot of us, when we get money, we can be a little headstrong, a little cocky. I think it just comes from, we know how hard it is to make it out of this state as black men. But also, a lot of people saw him with different girls before Halle. And so they was like, oh, he's a dog. He ain't no good, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of people didn't want him to be with this Disney perfect angel Beyonce type of girl, even though a lot of y'all are okay with Beyonce being with Jay-Z after he cheated. But I guess that's okay because Jay-Z's a billionaire. Because y'all know everybody attaches them to Beyonce. I'm talking about the Haley sisters. They attach them to Beyonce, the Beyonce girls. They almost act like Haley and Chloe are Beyonce's daughters. But you don't have an issue with Jay-Z cheating on Beyonce and Beyonce going back. But y'all wanted to, I feel like her fan base was bullying DDG from the beginning without any type of cause. And so I bring up her fan base feeling a certain way about him because I feel like that might be a reason that the relationship didn't last. I feel like both of them might have been paying too much attention to social media and trying to live up to whatever perception that they created with their own careers. That could be a stretch, but even when we look at the breakup, it almost seems like Halle was living up to everything I would see on Twitter and Instagram, and basically treating DDG like he was the person that people think he is online. When it had to be some reason that y'all was cool, y'all had a relationship, y'all had a baby together, but once they broke up, it seems like even from those texts, she was upset and she was jealous. And this Lala girl that they were talking about in these text messages, DDG has been around her for years. And it was a time where DDG was actually dating her best friend that used to be Ruby Rose, who was also on the Joe Budden podcast a while ago. But Ruby and Lala used to be friends, and they had their own back and forth. And I feel like when DDG was with Ruby Rose, he wasn't that cool with Lala just because he was with Ruby. And so I just feel like that's more of a point where I think DDG and Lala don't mess with each other like that, because they've been around each other for years. And if they would have did something, I don't think they would have any issue with telling somebody. I just don't think they was doing anything because they've been around each other for years. That's the part where I said, you know, some of these people talking about this, they don't really know this kind of YouTube community. It's a YouTube community when it comes to a lot of these content creators. And now they're getting so big and famous, it's actually kind of getting to the mainstream hip hop news sphere. But people like me who actually came up on YouTube, you kind of know the real tea of it all. So yeah, I don't think DDG and Lala ever had anything going on. I just don't. They are both young. And like I said, I don't think people realize how young DDG is, as well as Halle. I think some people look at DDG like he 30-something and he was dating some girl who just turned 20. That's not the case. DDG like 25. But he been on so long that it just feels like he's older. Especially for somebody like me, I have to remind myself he younger than me. But they both are young. They both just had a baby. They both got money. They both got fan bases. And, you know, they're balancing trying to live their life while also pleasing their fans. And I think that's tricky when it's a baby involved. And I could talk about the courts, but I don't want to trigger nobody right now. But I will say, I think for a lot of black men, you feel like a lot of women take things to the courts because they know that's their home court, that's their domain, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be victorious, even if the claims against you aren't true. You know, if you want to win something with a man, I think a lot of women feel like, well, if I take this to courts and I say X, Y, and Z, I can get what I want. Because history has told us that's usually the case, especially when it comes to children and back and forths like that. So it is what it is. DDG is fighting back. And I also think a lot of people are upset that, you know, he had this information and he has things that could paint her in a certain type of light. But that goes back to what I was saying from the beginning. A lot of her fans never liked him from the beginning. And I think a lot of people might have wanted to see her with a white guy, something like that. Probably wanted to see her with the guy that Kylie Jenner's dating, the guy from Dune, Timothy Chalamet, whatever his name is. I think that's the guy that people would have wanted to see Halle with, instead of some black rapper. Let me know what y'all think about this. Like the video and subscribe. You know, praying for them and the kids. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.